Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. We are here because God is concerned about that which concerns you. So you can call or text every day now on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424 to discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships, whatever's in your heart, whatever's in your mind. God is always concerned about that which concerns you. So we are here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, brought to you by Fiji Water. You may already know that Fiji Water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock. The water collects in a natural artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water. And for those of you who continue supporting the broadcast by giving on the Give segment of our app, and those of you that have made a monthly commitment to support the broadcast, we thank you for your support and your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here to address whatever topics you would like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or difficult to navigate. I also want to remind all of our listeners and viewers to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our broadcast, and set a reminder so that you know when we are live. Every time we go live, Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, and for the Sunday sermon at New Life Christian Center at 10:45 a.m. we go live, but service begins at 10 a.m. at 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, at the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road. We are the brown brick building right on the corner. There's parking on Hillcrest. You will just walk to the corner and enter into our sanctuary, where you can worship with us and experience a better quality of life. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been a bit self-destructive while having a good time during the pandemic, during COVID. However, you do not want to be captive to COVID, you indicated in your communication. I get a lot of communications regarding the time that we're in. But we have to remember there's a time for every purpose. And now is not the time for you to be self-destructive. The good news is that you've realized that you've been self-destructive, even though you don't want to be held captive. So let me begin by also saying you can only be held captive by COVID in your mind. You're not being held captive to the point where you're not able to do the things that that you've always done. You may have to modify the way you're living to ensure that you're safe and secure, and that for the sake of public health, that others remain safe and secure, that others remain safe and well. So I want to say to you, you can still do some of the things that you enjoy doing, but first of all, you have to be willing to wear a mask. And second of all, I will say this, and everyone who knows me knows this. When I leave my home, which is only when it's necessary, when I leave my home, I wear a mask and gloves. The transparent gloves, that powderless, clear gloves, that I can make certain that if I'm touching surfaces, that I'm safe, and if I am encountering others, that I'm safe, not putting my hands on surfaces that are going to create contaminants for others. So we just have to be concerned about public health. What you've realized also is that in addition to not focusing on public health, you've been self-destructive. And the reason that that's come to your attention now is because prior to this revelation, you said you didn't know anyone who had contracted COVID. And the reason is because, first of all, you haven't been talking to a lot of people who are well informed. And secondly, because you're younger, and you didn't indicate this in your communication, but God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life. You're 33 years old. You're literally in the age group of my children. And the truth of the matter is that you have been going about your daily life refusing to be held captive by COVID. Okay, so let's look at this from a different perspective. You're only held captive in your mind, because you're able to get up every day and you're able to go to work, and now that you've returned to your office, you're able to, you didn't say that in communication, but I've clearly got a vision from God of that secret place of your life. So you've already returned to the office, you returned to work. Your company has made a decision to return to the office. Now that may change because there's a surge in our country. Even though you're not in our region, I know in our region, there's been a surge in certain states. We're in the Northeast region. You're in a different region of the country, but the reality is that you've had a surge also. Your company may decide to pull back, but they've taken specific measures to make certain that you all in your office space are socially distanced. They have you coming into the office every other day. You know, you've been going about the business of life. The problem is you've been leaving the office and going and hanging out with your friends. And you all have not, you've been going out socially distant. You haven't been going out socially distancing. You've been doing all of the things that the science has told us not to do. And in addition to that, you have been intimate with more than one individual. You didn't say that, but I'm just giving you all of the factors. You've been intimate with more than one individual, not knowing the people that they've come in contact. So yes, you have been a bit self-destructive, and even, I might add, a little bit reckless. However, God has covered you and protected you thus far. You have to realize now that you're not being held captive. You can still move around. We just have to move around more carefully. We have to be aware of our surroundings. We have to be aware of the people we come in contact with, and we have to be aware of being in contact with others and transmitting something, because you haven't been tested for COVID. So you could be asymptomatic and spreading it to others without you even knowing that you had it. So you have to be mindful of public health. And that means everyone. We have to be mindful of everyone. So, listen, I'm not suggesting to anyone, we want our economy to be restored. We want it to become vibrant again. We want to be able to start living with this new environment that we're in. And that's okay. We should be doing that. We can't stay stagnant forever. We don't want to be reckless, and we want to be cautious in the sense of moving around when it's necessary, doing the things that we normally would do. I'll give you a prime example of that. In our church, we have reopened, but we've reopened with protocol, making certain that everyone stays socially distanced, making certain that we're not doing what we normally would do, which is hugging and embracing and loving one another. We just love now. We can't hug and embrace, but we communicate with one another. We social distance while we're talking. And we're all wearing masks, doing what we need to do. I only take mine off to preach. We're doing what we're supposed to do. And then we trust God for the rest. Meaning, we have to go to the grocery store because we have to eat. There may be certain things that we have to do outside of our household, but the things we desire to do can be modified. So I'm encouraging you to make some modifications and to do that by enjoying some open air events that require social distancing or allow you to social distance. You know, this past week, we were able to go out to the state park just for a walk, socially distancing with the rest of the community that was out walking in the state park, you know, just enjoying watching the water flow by, but not being in the presence of a lot of other people, just the people who are in my immediate household. And the reason is because we're just being cautious about the concern for others and for ourselves. So I'm really thankful that you sent in this communication, because it's a reminder to us all. You were honest to say that you've been self-destructive. You know, I included a little bit of recklessness, and the reason is because we've got to bring up our level of awareness. You're not being held hostage by COVID. You're being aware that COVID is present. And now that we have brought up our level of awareness that it's present, let's just do the right thing. You know, at the end of the day, the science is what it is. We can choose to ignore it if we want to, but you're making yourself and others susceptible to the consequences of ignoring the science. Science is science. It does not imply that we cannot live and function and even thrive in the presence of a pandemic. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you over into our queue where you can experience America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. T-Mobile. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider, at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers, and of course you can continue to live chat with us during the broadcast on our YouTube channel at 3D Daily Divine Direction Broadcast, and of course we're Facebook Live, so we have a lot of platforms for you to be able to communicate with us. We're going to continue to expand, but I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have a difficult time managing your time. You want to know, how do you improve your time management? So I realize that you're a relatively new listener, but I want to say this to all of our listeners and viewers. Every broadcast is archived for 365 days on our app at New Life Delaware and on our website at newlifeministriesinternational.com. Now, having said that, you can go back and view every broadcast for the last 365 days. I've talked about time management previously. However, I'm going to talk about it again today because it's important that we all recognize the importance of managing our time. And so I want to say that so that you will know that time management is going to be a crucial aspect of your life. And because you've asked this question, I'm going to walk through this so that it will not only help you, but that it will help all of our listeners and viewers. Time management is the one thing that we have control over in our daily lives that enhances the quality of our life. So one of the things I encourage everyone to do is, from a business perspective and from a professional perspective and from a personal perspective, because this helps us to be able to use our time more effectively and efficiently, even personally. So one of the things that I encourage everyone is schedule blocks of time throughout the day. for everything that you need to do. And do it based on categories. So there's an administrative aspect to all of our lives. Set 2 hours aside for administrative work. There is a development aspect for all of our lives. Set 2 hours aside for development. There's a management aspect to all of our lives. I'm going through the categories first, and then I'll talk about them. There's a management aspect to all of our lives, and that means whether it's your employees, or whether you have children, or whether you're managing your relationship, your marriage, whatever the case may be. There's a management aspect to all of our lives. Set 2 hours aside for that category. There is a marketing aspect to all of our lives. Whether it's you branding yourself, or whether it's you looking and searching for new employment, or whether it is you marketing yourself to your internal customer and your external customer in your professional environment, there is a marketing aspect to all of our lives. And there's an operational aspect. And that operational aspect, whether it's in the corporate environment, how are you performing at the highest level that you could possibly achieve, or whether it's you managing your operational aspects of your lifestyle. Because lifestyle management is very important. Not just life skills, but lifestyle management. Making certain that we're not doing anything on a daily basis that's going to disrupt the quality of our lives. So when we think about that, the administrative aspect from a personal perspective could be something as simple as paying your bills every month, managing your finances on a daily basis. That's an administrative aspect of our lives. Real simple aspect. Set 2 hours aside for that. So even for this broadcast, every day, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, even for this, there's 2 hours set aside every single day just to go on the air. I'm not talking about the things that we do to expand the platforms. I'm not talking about the things that we do to edit and, well, let me rephrase that, to perfect the broadcast. I'm talking about the simple aspect of production for the broadcast begins at 11:30. The broadcast itself goes live at 12:30, and from 12:30 to 1:30, there's post-production. Set 2 hours aside for this broadcast every single day, Monday through Friday, from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So from 11:30 to 1:30, this is our focus, is to prepare to respond to all of the communications that have been sent in from our listeners and viewers. Now, I'm not talking about the aspects that go into that of, deciding on what attire is going to be displayed, not deciding on what's going to be displayed on camera. Those are all additional aspects, but just the administrative aspects alone, there's 2 hours set aside from 11:30 to 1:30 every single day. Development in our personal lives. We want to improve our body, mind, and spirit. So 2 hours every day set aside for development. Now, I know this might sound a little difficult for most people to grasp, in the sense of most people will set an alarm clock, they'll wake up in the morning, some people hit the snooze button, try to get that extra 15 minutes, and then they get up and they usually set just enough time to do their morning hygiene and get out the door. But what about meditation and prayer before you ever leave the house? Because you don't want to face the world without having some time to meditate and to prepare yourself for how you're going to present yourself to the public at large. So there has to be time for that. Body, mind, and spirit. Do you exercise in the morning or do you exercise in the evening? You've got to set time aside for development, body, mind, and spirit. Getting our mind right. Meditation gets our mind right. In the scripture in Revelations the 8th chapter, the first verse says that all of heaven went silent for 30 minutes. We need to meditate for 30 minutes just to get our head right, to get in that space that we need to be in, to make certain that whatever we do and say throughout the day is going to bring God His glory and enhance the quality of our lives. It's going to allow us to experience the fullness of God in all of our lives. So there's a development process to that. And then we've got to get our spirit right. And that's what I mean when I say pray. You know, you want to make certain your spirit is right before you have to deal with whatever God has assigned for your life. So there's a development aspect. And then, of course, there's the management aspect. And as I said, we've got to manage, you know, our households. If you have children who are underage, who are still minors, you have to manage what they need to do to be successful in their daily lives. And then we have to work. We have to get in our professional environment, and there are people you're going to have to manage even in your professional environment. And listen to this, even if you don't have people reporting directly to you, there are still people you're going to have to manage. You're going to have to manage the internal customer, the people in your professional environment, and you're going to have to manage your external customer, the people that you have to deal with outside of your office. How are you going to treat them, and how are you going to teach them to treat you? There's an aspect to that, and it does not require us to have a bad attitude, to be nasty, to be unkind. It doesn't require any of that. It requires us to manage every person that we come in contact with throughout the day. And then there's the marketing aspect. How are we marketing ourselves? Are we going into the office? Are we the one who goes into the office every day with a bad attitude? And everyone knows you have a bad attitude. Are we the one who goes in the office every day and our behavior doesn't demonstrate that we are a professional? It demonstrates that we are unprofessional. Are we the ones who arrive at the office and demonstrate that our behavior is Christ-like? That we're trying to become the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become? Are we the person branding ourselves as someone that nobody really wants to deal with? That's all part of our marketing. And if we are searching for the next level, a new position of employment, a promotion, are we marketing ourselves to achieve those things? Are we being the best version of ourselves every minute of every day, every hour of every day of every week, and every week of every month, and every month of every year? That's the marketing aspect. And then there's the operational aspect. How am I living and how am I loving? What am I passionate about, and how do I operate my lifestyle in a way that is going to maximize the fullness of God in my life? So those are all categories. And if we set 2 hours aside for each of those categories every day, we're going to become, first of all, a better version of ourselves. And second of all, that's a 10-hour workday. That's 10 hours a day of being the very best that we can possibly be, personally and professionally. And then we have to take into consideration that there's 8 hours of sleep that we need to be getting every single day, which leaves us with 6 hours. 6 hours to do things that we enjoy doing. So essentially, block out 2 hours for each of those. You know, things that we enjoy doing, 2 hours. Things that we need to do, 2 hours. And perhaps things that must be done, 2 hours. Because some things that we think we need to do, we don't need to do. But things that we must do have to be done. So there's a way to manage our lifestyle so that we can get the best result, can perform at the highest level, can experience the fullness of God and maximize the fullness of God in all of our lives. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Terrett, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. If you're in any of those areas, stop in at their retail store. They have the retail stores. They have everything that a man could possibly need: shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. And right now, if you order from Charles Terrett at ctshirts.com, you will receive 3 high-quality cotton shirts for $99. You can order, stop in at the retail stores, or order from Charles Terrett at ctshirts.com. And The White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at the retail store. They have everything that you could possibly need. They have home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And right now, they have a sale going on at The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. 15% off when you order, spend $100 or more, and 20% off when you spend $200 or more at The White Company. You can order at thewhitecompany.com, and they too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you and your sister had a blow up about caregiving of your aging mother. Okay, and you said in the communication, my sister does very little to help you care for your aging mother, and everything's left to you, and you want to know how can you get her to be more responsible. So let me first of all say this: you're stressing yourself out. Your sister is who she is. She's not going to do any more, and it's just the two of you. So she's not going to do any more than what she's already doing or what she's already done. You know that, and God has allowed me to see in that secret place of your life. She's not going to be more responsible. You're kicking against the pricks trying to get her to become more responsible. What you should do is continue to encourage her to spend whatever time she's going to spend with your mother, and focus your attention on how to take care of your aging mother. If you focus your attention on that and that alone, in addition to your personal life and your professional life, if you focus on taking care of your aging mother, you will find that you'll be less stressed, because right now what's stressing you out is trying to get your sister to do something she's not going to do. In every family, listen to this, in every family, there's always going to be someone who's more responsible than anyone else. That's just reality. I remember a communication that I received from a woman who had 4 children who were all doing the right things. She's blessed. That's not the norm for most families. Most families, you're going to find that there's always one person who's more responsible than everyone else. That's just reality. And when you spend your time and energy, when you spend your energy trying to get someone to do something they're not going to do, you're going to find that you're stressing yourself out more than is necessary. Focus that energy that you're, and I'm going to use this term, the energy you are wasting on your sister, trying to get her to do something that she's not capable of doing. And the reason I say she's not capable of doing it, she's been irresponsible all of her life. For her entire life, she has not been responsible. And now you want to get her to change to help care for your aging mother. She's not going to do it. And that's not an excuse. Hopefully someday she will make the decision that in order for her to have a better quality of life, she's going to have to become more responsible. We pray that prayer for her. That has to be your prayer for her. Focus your attention on what you're doing and not on what she's not doing, because it's only going to continue to stress you out. But if you focus on just taking care of your aging mother, and you might make some adjustments so that it is easier for you to care for her. But focus on that, and focus on your life, and focus on your personal life and your professional life, and you will be less stressed. You want that experience that you're having right now caring for your mother to be peaceful and to be joyful, not stressful. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast 3D is brought